Hey guys, it's me, Sung1, and today we're going to be talking about manga. Last video I did a room tour, and I showed some of the manga I had, and I figured, you know what, why not actually go into a little bit of detail about which manga I've liked enough to buy. So, here we go. So first off, we've got 20th Century Boys by Naoki Urasawa. And 20th Century Boys, I don't want to go too much into it because the journey is kind of like, the scope of it is so huge that it gets pretty nuts. But the way it starts out is basically, there's this guy named Kenji, and he's kind of like washed up 30s, wishes he had done more. He wished he was a musician, but he just runs his convenience store. And he discovers a symbol, and I'll show you. You've probably seen me wear it. I have a shirt of it. Let me grab it real quick. He sees this symbol. He remembers it from his childhood, and turns out it is the symbol of a cult. And again, I don't want to go too much into it, but crazy shit goes down, and he has to kind of think back to his childhood. But Urasawa, if you haven't seen like Monster or read his stuff, 20th Century Boys, Pluto, which I'll talk about later. Really, his art, first of all. So, first of all, I love his art style. It's very expressive. His paneling is very cinematic in feel. And basically, most of Urasawa's stuff, post-Monster and post-Monster, is very suspenseful, very intense, very psychologically fascinating and interesting. I love it. I really wish more people would read it, because it's fantastic. The characters are fantastic. Some parts I just fucked me up so bad. And yeah, so check it out. It's great. Art's great. Urasawa's writing is great. Great. Next up, we've got Azumanga Daioh. I'm sure everyone knows about this, but the manga is really quite good. I watched the anime first, and I enjoyed that. The manga has some stuff that the anime doesn't cover because a lot of it is just kind of like one-off jokes. It's 4-coma panel type comic. So Kiyohiko Azuma's punchlines and delivery are so funny sometimes. Like a lot of other manga just try to be so forced with their delivery, but Azuma just, man, he nails the punchline so well. He is a master of comedy. Characters are very cute. I like slice of life stuff a lot, and this has the bonus of also being really funny. And there are only 4 volumes, so it's a pretty short read. Next up, we have Full Metal Alchemist, very famous series, I know. So first off, if you think the 2003 anime is better than the manga, you're completely wrong. The manga is even better than Brotherhood. It's the ultimate way to experience it. I love Hiromu Arakawa's art a lot, and I love how she writes her characters. Her characters can be very funny, but also feel very human at the same time. So it's never, even though it might switch between comedic moments and very serious moments, there's never like too much of an emotional whiplash. Her art is pretty good in the beginning, and man, as it goes on, it just gets better and better. The story is also very satisfyingly plotted out. I know that she basically, I forget which volume it is, but somewhere during the run, she was like, yeah, I know exactly how it's gonna end, and I'm just building towards it. And it really feels that way. It doesn't ever feel like it's dragging. Everything feels like it has a purpose, and that's something that a lot of shonen manga struggle with. There's a lot of filler, or it feels very just forced or dragged out. And even though it's 27 volumes, it feels concise because of how well plotted it is. But yeah, check it out. Very funny, very endearing characters, really great moments in it. I absolutely love it. Some of the twists she pulls off in this blow your fucking mind. So good. I wish they released Silver Spoon, because I love the show of that, and her humor is so good. But I don't think they've released a manga of that, unfortunately. But Silver Spoon is also good. You should check that out. Next up, we have Genshiken, and the first series is in 3. I have it in 3 omnibus editions because I don't have the individual volumes. This is a nice series that it's another slice of life one, and it basically shows a realistic, not super flattering almost, but a realistic view of what nerds or otaku in Japan are like. The characters feel pretty much like people you have probably met in your life if you've ever encountered super hardcore anime nerds. But I really like the characters are very likable. I really like Saki a lot. She's basically a girl who falls in love with an anime nerd because he's hot, and then she kind of gets sucked into this world of anime / manga fandom, and she has absolutely no interest in it. And she's a great character, and her interactions with the other characters are really funny. Now, I'm not as hardcore as the characters in this, so some of the stuff in here, it's always kind of like, ugh, kind of gross, but it's always very funny. Shimoku Kyo's art in the beginning is actually not very good, but as it goes on, he gets a lot better. And that leads into Genshiken's second season, which I actually did not read for a long time, because I was very happy with how Genshiken ended. But I saw some stuff from it, and I thought, it looked pretty interesting, so I checked it out, and I was surprised at how much I got into it. It's very different from the first Genshiken, because the first Genshiken is very male-centric in terms of most of its characters are male, but they switch it up in the second season, and almost all the characters are female. So it's a different perspective, which I appreciate. This one feels almost more like like a romantic, like tons of romantic entanglements compared to this one, which feels more slice of lifey and kind of almost like a documentary, which I don't have a problem with, but I think I prefer the first season more still, but I appreciate the second season for a different reason. It's not as realistic, but it's fun in its own way, and also I really got attached to the characters in the first one, so getting to see them again is admittedly very, very satisfying. So yeah, they're fun. It's surprisingly has some good, nice little emotional moments too. So I appreciate that a lot. The second season has, I think, 8 volumes out so far, and it's still going. Aha, here we go, another Urasawa classic, Pluto. So Pluto is an adaptation of an Astro Boy story arc by Osamu Tezuka, the strongest robot in the world. And Naoki Urasawa was given permission to adapt that arc in his own terrifying, psychologically disturbing Urasawa way. So the art is gorgeous, as always with Urasawa. I really like how the manga has these very cool side eye things. I like these a lot. They're very visually striking. Really gripping stuff. It's basically a murder mystery because someone or something is going around killing the strongest robots in the world. And this guy, Gesicht, the robot detective, has to figure out what the hell's going on. Some pretty disturbing imagery. Some very emotional moments. It's only 8 volumes, which I think is perfect because as much as I love Urasawa, sometimes he can get a little sidetracked and kind of go longer than maybe he should, which I still enjoy his stuff a lot, but I mean, Pluto benefits because it's only 8 volumes. It's a very compact story. A lot of great characters. Gesicht is a fantastic protagonist. Yeah, so check that out. If you like Tezuka stuff and want to see an interesting, dark take on it, Urasawa is so good, and I think more people should read his stuff because it's very mature, very sophisticated writing. So check that out. Finally, the last, my favorite manga, Yotsuba. Yotsuba manages to capture, and this is by Kiyohiko Azuma, by the guy who did Azumanga Daioh. So basically with this, Azumanga Daioh was like a 4-panel comic, so I always feel like Yotsuba is like, hey, guess what, fuckers? I can draw gorgeous backgrounds and shit. Because his art is really good. And I mean, it's even better now, but when you get to see like him draw like scenes of nature and like buildings and stuff, like he is very good. And man, like Yotsuba is hilarious. It is slice of life. It manages to perfectly capture what childhood, the joys of childhood, and not just the joys of childhood, but also just how fun it is to interact with kids, even as an adult. You know, the interactions with Yotsuba and her dad, or her older, like her neighbors and stuff, is always very endearing. Once again, his comedic timing facial expressions and just the delivery on some of his punchlines are so good. I think the best thing I like about Azuma's stuff is just how funny he is and how like you don't really see that top-notch delivery in other stuff. I think the only person I could compare to is maybe Arakawa. I think Arakawa is also very funny. Yeah, so those are the manga that I own. If you guys have any recommendations for manga that you think I should read, why don't you comment and maybe I'll check it out. I always should read more manga because usually I'll watch the anime if there's an anime version of a manga, but I always should read more manga. So if there's anything that you guys think I should read, let me know. Okay. See ya.